fragrant friends, it's Jay. Today's video is going to be about me deciding whether I actually need a full bottle of Delina. I definitely have my point of reference. I have a decant of Delina. And I have 7 fragrances that I've purchased around Delina. I don't know what has kept me from buying an actual bottle of this fragrance, but something has. I don't know. Do you guys do that? I feel like it's kind of silly as far as I'm concerned, but also interesting because I can bring this to you as far as the comparisons between all of the fragrances. So yes, this is my decant of Delina. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it on my left forearm. This is what inspired this whole fragrance. I've been playing with fragrances today. And what I've noticed, okay, so I'll say first that the rose in these fragrances, it is what has brought this whole list together. I feel like all of these fragrances have a fresh, of sweet, a pink rose that binds them all together. But there are some nuances. There's some small differences that separate them. In some of them, they're pretty big differences actually, but the rose note in these fragrances, I feel, are all the same, or at least very similar. So when I spray Delina, I definitely get a smile. I love this fragrance. I get a fruity note. I definitely get that lychee, and it is watery. It's fruity. I definitely get the tartness from the rhubarb. And again, that rose note, it's very, to me, pink. When I think of pink roses, I think of some subtle sweetness. I think of freshness. I think of floral, and it's just beautiful here. And what I get in Delina that I didn't get before until I started comparing these fragrances is a creaminess. And that could come from the vanilla that's in this fragrance. So creamy, fruity, fresh, sweet, rosy, pink floral, okay? And so that is Delina. This is how I assess it on this arm, okay? I will share with you first the fragrance that I felt was gonna be my Delina. When I bought this fragrance, I smelled this fragrance, wore this fragrance. I didn't feel like I needed Delina at all. But now when I'm comparing it, I definitely see the differences, and it's really crazy. This is Roses Greedy by Mancera. I don't know if you guys are gonna get a good view because of the ring light, but yes, this is Roses Greedy by Mancera. When I sprayed this, I actually have it on my right arm here. So the rose, again, is very similar. That pink, that fresh but sweet rose. But as this fragrance dies down, I get that jasmine. There's jasmine in here. There's definitely a musky, soapy note that is in this fragrance that separates it from Delina. So the rose might be similar, but the other notes bring them, take them to different paths. There's no fruitiness in here. There's no creaminess in here. So it's really just a fresh, but still sweet rose with some muskiness and some soapiness. Very beautiful fragrance. Roses Greedy is not Delina. It's its own fragrance, its own beautiful fragrance, but it really, once compared, is not Delina. So in terms of owning this Roses Greedy, I would still need Delina because I love it. I love the creaminess. I love the fruitiness that it gives. I love the tartness that it gives. This definitely goes in a whole other direction. So this is more for the floral lovers, for the musky lovers, for the soapy lovers, that is Roses Greedy. So I'm going to put that down. The next fragrance that I will mention is definitely Rose Extas by Nina Ricci. This rose, again, is very similar. It's a fresh, it's a sweet pink rose, but this fragrance is definitely more juicy than Delina, and it does not have that creaminess that I've noticed Delina has. This is like gives me a strawberry vibe as far as the berries go, and it is simply, it's almost candy-like, a very candy-like sweet red berry with a fresh sweet rose, and some muskiness to end it all together, to blend it all together. And that is Nina Ricci Rose Extas. Similar as far as the rose goes, but definitely not Delina. This is not Delina. So in terms of Nina Ricci Rose Extas, I would still need Delina. Let's see, the next fragrance I will mention, it was a far reach, I will admit. This is Dancing Roses by Viktor and Rolf, and I reached for it because I felt like the rose was very similar. I understand that this fragrance has a very sweet, very boozy, very tart cherry in the beginning, and it is so fun and so lovely. I figured that once that cherry note died down, that the rose note would satisfy my craving for Delina. I feel like the cherry stays around a little bit more than I expected. And I also feel like the rose note is definitely similar to Delina, but it does not have that creaminess. Doesn't give that slight woodiness at the base that Delina does. So Dancing Roses, maybe in terms of the rose, might be similar, only similar to the rose in Delina, but this is a wholly different fragrance. So Dancing Roses is not, as far as I'm concerned, similar to Delina. I'm going to put that to the side. The next fragrance that I thought about is Roses Viney. This is another fragrance by Mancera. And the rose in here is fresh, it's sweet, it's clean, just as Delina is. But I also feel like this fragrance is a little too sweet. The rose, or excuse me, the vanilla that is in this fragrance, there's a little booziness when you first spray it. I get a little alcoholic note, nothing offensive, just slight, something that I just noticed. But it is a little bit alcoholic when I first spray it. The vanilla quickly shows itself, and it is, it might resemble a little bit of that creaminess that vanilla has in Delina. But the fruitiness is not in this fragrance. So Roses Viney possibly could be similar to Delina. I feel like it's definitely sweeter. Definitely has that creaminess to it. Doesn't have that fruit note. So it's a possible comparison, not a dupe. So maybe this is about 75 to 80% similar to Delina, I would say. But it doesn't satisfy my craving for all of those notes that Delina has mixed together. So this is Roses Viney by Mancera. Another fragrance that I thought might satisfy a craving for Delina is by Floris. I thought about, this is Sirena by Floris. This fragrance has a slight marine note. And I am not attracted to oceanic notes. I'm not attracted to blue fragrances. So anything that is like beachy, that is ocean-like, I kind of stray away from this is minimal in here. There is a hint of it, but it also has these sweet, fresh red berries along with the rose mixed with it. And so I thought that this fragrance might compare to Delina. Again, this is Floris Sirena. And really, it is not a comparison. The aquatic note, it's not just aquatic, I should say the marine note, pushes it away from what Delina does. This is definitely, you could pick it up, but if you are a person who is averse to marine notes, this might be a fragrance that you want to try. But in comparison to Delina, it would just be the fruits, which are berries, the type of rose, which is pink, fresh, sweet. But everything else about this fragrance, I would not say it is similar to Delina. This is Floris by Sirena. This is Sirena by Floris. Another fragrance that I felt might be similar to Delina, but kind of fell short of the mark, is Shanghai Tang, and this is by Etro. This bottle is really, really pretty. I mean, it just adds to the experience, but the juice is what matters. This fragrance is more so a fresh bouquet of roses. Has some depth to it, sweetness to it. There might be a little bit of green that I pick up, but really it is about the rose. I feel like it's a red rose. And I feel like it's not similar to Delina. This is not similar to Delina at all. There is not much fruitiness to this fragrance. I feel like out of this list, this is probably the most botanical. This is definitely, like I said, a bouquet right in your face of sweet red roses. Maybe with the stems, with the green, with a little bit of something to give it a little bit of depth. I think there's some incense in here. I don't know that I can identify that directly, but maybe I can get the feel of what the incense might do for this fragrance. But definitely not a direct comparison to Delina. This is Etro Shanghai Tang. The last fragrance I have in this list, I feel is the most similar to Delina, and this is Ajwad by Lattafa. When I first got this fragrance, I felt like it was a mix between Roses Viney, let me get this right, Roses Viney and Roses Greedy, because Roses Greedy, as I said before, is more so a floral fragrance with musk and a soapy vibe, soapy clean vibe with that sweet pink rose. And Roses Viney definitely has a heavier dose of vanilla, but still that rose, that fresh sweet rose in there. This, I feel, is a perfect mix between the two. And it also has the fruits, okay? It has a fruity vibe on top. This fragrance is definitely long-lasting. I, let's see, sprayed Delina at the beginning of this video, and I still get it on my forearm. I sprayed Roses Greedy. Definitely get that sweet, soapy, jasmine, and rosy vibe on this arm. I also sprayed the Lattafa in playing around on my hand here. And it is very fruity and rosy at the top. As it's worn, this fragrance I feel is a little bit stronger than the original Parfums de Marly Delina. I question whether I would choose this over Delina just because of the lasting power, just because of the presence. Delina, as I was testing, I kind of had to smell it and search for it. This fragrance, the Lattafa Ajwad, is a little bit sweeter than Delina, maybe has the same amount of creaminess, but the presence of it stays without me having to search for it. So I wonder if this might be the better bet. I definitely believe that Delina is a beautiful, creamy, floral fragrance, fruity as well, fresh as well. But if I have to search for it, while this stays pretty prominent, I don't have to search for this fragrance at all. And I feel like it might have just a little bit more wood than Delina does. I wonder if this might be the better deal. You guys try it out for yourself. Would this keep me from buying Delina? Possibly. I mean, possibly. You know, it is definitely less expensive. The lasting power seems to be better. More longevity with a stronger presence. So I'm gonna have to test this one out a little bit more. This could beat out Delina, the original Delina. So I don't know. Have you guys tried Ajwad? And what do you guys think about the fragrances that I have listed in this video? One fragrance that I know that I do need, that is unmatched, that I haven't smelled anything similar, is Delina Exclusive. This is undoubtedly a fragrance that I need in my collection. There's nothing like it. It's very unique. Adds a little bit of powder, a little bit more wood, a little bit more sweetness to Delina. The tartness is kind of taken away, but what's beautiful about it is that the creaminess is still there. So I know for sure that I need a bottle of Delina Exclusive. I may not need the original Delina. I might just need to keep this Ajwad around by Lattafa. I'm going to keep testing, but you guys tell me what you think. What is your experience with these fragrances, or fragrances that you have come across in your journey that remind you of Delina? Do you feel like you still need to buy it? Do you have it? Do you wish that you would have gotten something else? I know that Be Layered has a fragrance that is similar to Delina. I've had it in the past. I can't recall. I can't compare at this time, but yeah, just let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are there other fragrances out there that remind you of Delina and that satisfy your craving enough so that you feel you don't need to purchase the original Delina? Yeah, I'm still deciding, but this one is a strong contender. I'm glad you guys could spend some time with me today. Thank you so much to my new subscribers. Thank you so much to everybody who keeps coming back to my videos. I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Love, Jay. Bye-bye.